What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to The Let Go, where we talk about health, fitness, sex, relationships, and overall self-development. So I know I'm not the only one that thinks we walk around like mindless zombies throughout the day, dealing with our everyday lives and the bullshit that comes with it. But I feel like anxiety is such a serious thing for a lot of us, and we have to deal with it in our everyday lives, believe it or not. So with everything going on in the world today, especially right now, I don't doubt that most of us are having a hard time dealing with it all, which is why I wanted to discuss mental health and my own struggles with anxiety. So I don't think anxiety and depression need an introduction, especially at this point of our lives, because it's such a common thing, unfortunately, and it shouldn't be like that, and it fucking sucks, but it is that way. So there was a time in my life where I let anxiety take complete control over my life, and it was a incredibly frustrating time in my life because I couldn't go to the grocery store. I couldn't hang out with friends. I didn't feel like I could respond to text messages or let alone go to the gym because I felt like I was a prisoner in my own head, and it paralyzed me, it crippled me, and I feel like it took control over everything, and I feel like all my insecurities poured out of me, like all at once. Everywhere I went, it was just there, out in the open for everyone to see. I feel like an important thing to remember is that sometimes anxiety is just a bunch of speculation about yourself. Now, I'm not a professional or anything. I can only share my viewpoint on this and put my past experiences out in the open for you. I think that even though social media is one of the biggest platforms for our generation, it's also fucking with us every day. We use it to keep in touch, share, whatever we use it for. I do feel it has us comparing our lives to one another in a lot of situations, where we compare others' success to our own, and it almost causes a sense of stress and envy towards one another instead of taking the time and using it to our advantage by investing in yourself. And now, mind you, I'm not saying get off of it completely. If you feel like you want to quit cold turkey and just get off of all social media altogether because you feel that's best for you, then by all means, I mean, whatever works for you. I think in moderation, it could be very useful. I mean, you can turn it into a fucking career for all I care. But one thing I do go against is hopping on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. The very minute you wake up, for one, I feel like it's just a complete misuse of your time, and not to mention, you wake up with this little device in the palm of your hand, and there's an unlimited amount of possibilities there. I mean, you get news articles, horrific stories, videos, and shit like that. And I feel like for your first hour of the day, it's probably not the best way to spend it. I feel like it just causes a sense of anxiety just thinking about it. Hopping onto that the first second you wake up, I feel like it's just not good for you. Take the time for yourself, get ahead. I would say use that hour wisely. Is probably one of the best things you can do. If you're having trouble, try doing some of the following. Number one, limit the amount of caffeine that you take. After all, caffeine is a stimulant, and somebody who's dealing with anxiety probably wants to stay away from that, because I mean, it's gonna bump up your heart rate, and you really don't want that in a time of panic. Number two is try counting your breath. What I like to do is I like to stop what I'm doing, and I close my eyes and I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, and I count slowly, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10, and I focus on those numbers and I verbalize them just like that. I say them out loud to myself so that I don't lose my place and I focus on the number, and I just keep going. And if I still don't feel a sense of relief, I start back from one again, and I just continue slowly and focus on my breathing. And so finally, number three, this one is the most efficient one that I found. It focuses on grounding yourself in the present moment. So what you want to do is you want to look for four things that you can touch and or feel. Just whether it's just something texture. Well, yeah, that's what it is. It's just something with texture. And when you do it, you want to say it out loud to yourself. Like, this is a metal pipe or some shit like that, or this is whatever kind of fabric it is, or this is a wooden table. I'll look for four things that I can touch. I also grab four different things that I can taste. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I just, kind of just lick whatever's around. It's kind of gross, but it's true, and it really helps. And when I taste it, I put it in my mouth or I lick it, whatever. I say it out loud to myself. It's like, this is a popsicle, or this is a gum wrapper, or that's my pencil, or that's the bottom of my shoe. And I say it out loud to myself so that I focus on what that is, what that specific thing is. What else? Also, I also look for three different things that I can see in the moment. So for one, I see a water bottle, I see a box, I see some newspapers, and just like that, I say it out loud to myself. And finally, I like to close my eyes and just listen to what's around me and just say it out loud. I can hear the birds chirping, I can hear the trees rustling in the wind, and I can hear that semi truck driving by. And when you do those in order like that, it's supposed to help ground you, put you in that exact moment where you are, and not to mention it also distracts from whatever's going on. There was a time where I was dealing with a full-blown panic attacks every day, and I couldn't do it. I thought I was gonna die. I ended up in the hospital. I ended up in the lobby of a hospital screaming at the nurse, and I told her I need to be seen right away because I think I'm gonna fucking die because I'm having a heart attack because I had just incredible chest pain, and my arm was numb, and I was freaking out. I had no idea what was going on because I'd never experienced this before. But it got really bad because this was an everyday thing. And when you have panic attacks that are so serious like that, another thing is like the triggers. You got to figure out what those triggers are, so that you know to stay away from them, I guess. But a lot of times when you're having panic attacks so severe like that, what tends to happen is that you'll bring on another panic attack from the fear of having another panic attack. So it's like this vicious circle that never ends, and it's so frustrating, and it's so fucking scary. But I learned to relax and focus on other things and keep my mind occupied by doing those tricks there. The most important thing is to remember to get in touch with your body again. Learn how it is you work. Learn how to calm yourself down. Be one with your body. And yeah, if you're having trouble with anxiety, please feel free to try some of these tips and tricks because they really helped me in a time of need, and I'm really thankful for the help that I received during this time. So if it makes a difference for you, then it's fantastic. But besides that, thank you for watching and be safe.